So welcome, family. Welcome, welcome. We do welcome you. So I just want to say that I'm glad you're here. We're going to discuss some things, go over some things, and I just hope that what we're sharing with you is of some substance to you. Now, one of the things that we like to do, and that I like to do, is to get into subject matter that is very rarely touched by our teachers. And because it's rarely touched, I think it's critical that we do get into it. I think it's critical that we look at it. It's very necessary for us to be aware of the things that are not spoken of to us. It's necessary that we pay attention to things that are in our scriptures and in our word that isn't commonly taught to us. I'm looking away because, again, I'm flying solo and I'm happening to set things up as we go. I like to discuss things that isn't commonly taught to us. Like, we'll think about eschatology, which is the study of the end times, which maybe someone may say is prophecy or what have you. But okay, we'll look at what they call prophecy. But at the same time, what it is it's us being aware of what's going on. Now, we did the last video, looking at the last video. That video talked about being in the book of, what were we in? We were in 2nd Esdras, okay? And I was showing you in 2nd Esdras that as we're looking, every book doesn't have all the information in it. We're using my e-sword, and even my e-sword cut some things off at Esdras, where we were looking at another copy of Esdras where they cut out about almost 100 verses or so, and they jumped down to the bottom and used some verses near the bottom, and so they cut out. They had this whole section they cut out, okay, and they brought this at the bottom up, so that whole section is missing. So you get to verse 35, and then at 36 it says something completely different than what this other one said, because 36 on this one and 36 on that one was completely different. Well, they went down to like 100 and something, and then brought that up and made it 36. So they cut some things out, and the things that they cut out were very critical, very crucial things for us to know, because the Father said in that word that we were reading in Esdras 7:21, he said, every soul is strictly commanded before it comes into this world what it needs to do in order to live and miss the punishment. So everything that was listed after that was missing. So the Father strictly told you what to do in order to live, have everlasting life, eternal life, immortal life, and to miss the punishment, everlasting judgment. All that was missing. And then the question was asked by Ezra, what happens to the soul when it leaves the body? Okay, so that's another something that's coming down the road. We're going to work on that one here shortly. But this one here was a question that someone asked me. And when the question was asked of me, I had the answer, but I didn't have it right in front of me, so I couldn't give them the answer, because I hate to have to go off the top of my head with something, because I really would rather have the reading so that you can see the reading and know what it was and what it is. So that question was given to me, was brought to me by the same person that gave me my beard oil, okay, and that was my friend Savvy Pro Clean in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma, gave me that beard oil right there for my face to help keep my beard luxurious and nice. Okay, so Savvy Pro Clean, you guys in Oklahoma City, if you're in Oklahoma City, that's who you want to look at. I told her the other day, I said, I've been giving you shameless plugs in the middle of videos, and so it's what it is. She has a professional cleaning service. She will do your businesses. She comes highly recommended. She will do your residences. And trust me, this is not. This is not. I want to say this correctly, because this is just not. This is not a type of service that everyone will use. I want to let you know that she has very professional and high line clientele. So I didn't say customers, I say clientele. She has very professional and she does residential, but she also does businesses. She comes highly recommended. I'm trying to give you as much as I can without really blowing her horn, because she's high level. Okay, we're not talking about some low level, your local around the corner. Well, my sister, she know how to clean house. No, this is something way different. Okay, she has professional athletes, senators, things like that. And so I'm gonna leave it there. I just want you to know that this is Savvy Pro Clean is pro clean. Okay, I just want you to know that, right? She will do your residences, right? But she has very high level clientele. Very, very high level clientele. So I just don't want you to think this is some fly by night organization. She is not. She's been at this for well over 25 years, going on 30 years now. And it's serious business with her. So Savvy Pro Clean, you guys, in Oklahoma City, if anybody needs it like that. So we're going to move on, and we're going to talk about some things. I want to first say to you, welcome. And you have to know that right off the top, we are going to be using some different articles from various different people that are not ours. And we will use them as fair use, because it's allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, parody, but we're not making fun of anyone, and we're not trying to infringe on anyone's copyrights. We're not in this for money. We're not in this for fame. We're not in this for anything like that. We're doing this simply because we want to teach and educate our people and have everybody know what's really going on. So we're going to be getting into, like eschatology and things like that. And because it's eschatology and things like that, we want you to understand that it is teaching. It's the word, and it is serious. We'll be using extra biblical texts. And if you don't have an e-sword, I suggest you get one. But we're also going to be over here in the Pseudepigrapha. This is P as in Peter, SEUDEBIGRAFHA.com. I spelled it horribly wrong the other day, but that is it, PSEUDEPIGRAFA.com. We are going to be in the, oh my goodness. We're going to be in the book of Enoch, looking at some things. And we were in, and the reason why I'm doing this is because there are various different levels of teaching, and some people just teach on a particular level. Okay, we need to be well-rounded. We need to know some things, and there are some things that our teachers are not touching. Okay, they're not talking to us about what it is we need to do to seek life. They're not talking to us. See, it's more than just, so we're supposed to be keeping the law and the commandments, yes, but there's more to it than that. You can't just be law, commandments, law. There's stuff out there that we're supposed to be paying attention to. We should be reading a lot of these extra biblical books and paying attention to the instruction that is being given to us in these extra biblical books. We live these lives and how we live this life in particular, because we're being told what happens to us when the soul leaves the body. Okay, Ezra asked the question, what happens when the soul leaves the body? That's what we were talking about just the other day. If you didn't see that one, the name of the video was the message from Ezra shook me. Okay, and so that one was about Ezra's conversation with a messenger about what happens when the soul leaves the body. And we're going to be going down that road more. We'll be going down more of these roads more. But we're going to be in E-Sword, okay, first of all. And when we're in E-Sword, folks, we're going to be talking about these angels who fell. because my sister over at Savvy Proclean asked me a question, and she asked me a question about the fallen angels. And we were having a conversation about the fallen angels, and so that kind of precipitated and led into this. And then I said, that I need to touch this. But do this. Before I do this, I want to do something else. Before I do this, let me do this, because this is kind of very necessary. I want to go here. Let me see if I can get this to react. Here we go. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to do this first, okay, right here, and then we're going to talk about these fallen angels. We're going to go into some detail and some subject, but I had to put some things together for us to first kind of wrap our heads around this fallen angel situation first of all. Okay, so let me do this, and then we'll get into the fallen angels. So first thing I'm going to do, okay, I'm going to mute my mic because the video is going to come up. Okay, I'm going to mute my mic, and then we're going to let the video come up. All right.
And these are the chiefs of their angels, and the names of the leaders of hundreds, and their leaders of 50s, and their leaders of 10s. The name of the first is Yakun. This is the one who led astray all the children of the holy angels, and he brought them down unto the ground, and led them astray through the daughters of men. And the name of the second is Asbil. This one suggested an evil plan to the children of the holy angels, and led them astray, so that they corrupted their bodies with the daughters of men. And the name of the third is Gadriel. This is the one that showed all the deadly blows to the sons of men, and he led astray Eve. And he showed the weapons of death to the children.
Let me do that again. Let me do that again, because I didn't have I didn't have things set in the right place. I didn't realize that this picture camera of me, my ugly face, was going to be blocking the video. So you may have heard it, but I want you to be able to read along with this. So let me get me out of the way and start the video again. Okay, and then let's go at that. This is really necessary. I need this to set the groundwork. Okay.
Children of men, the shield and the breastplate, and the sword for slaughter, and all the weapons of death to the sons of men. And from his hand they have gone out against those who dwell the dry ground from that time and forever and ever. And the name of the fourth is Penemu. This one showed the sons of men the bitter and the sweet, and showed them all the secrets of their wisdom. He taught men the art of writing with ink and paper, and through this many have gone astray, from eternity to eternity and to this day. For men were not created for this, that they should confirm their faith like this, with pen and ink.
Sorry about that. I had my amplifier on and my microphone was flying solo, y'all, over here by myself. So I don't know if you got that from the beginning. I really hope you did. I'm gonna try to do that. See what we get, because I want that to come from the beginning. There's a reason why I wanted that whole thing to play, and I don't know if it did. So let's try it again and make sure we get it, the whole thing this time. Oh wow, I don't know if that did it or not. See, that's this is supposed to be coming from Let me make sure it's coming from the right place. Okay. I'm gonna take that out of there, and we're gonna try to get it to come from the right place again. We want that entire video, that portion of the video. I want that entire portion of that video to play. That's crucial because that's the groundwork that we're laying here. Let's see.
And after this judgment I will terrify them and make them tremble, for they have shown this to those who dwell upon the dry ground. And behold, the names of those angels. The first of them is Simyaza, and the second Artakepha, and the third Armin, and the fourth Kokabiel, and the fifth Turiel, and the sixth Ramiel, and the seventh Daniel, and the eighth Nuquel, and the ninth Baraquiel, and the 10th Azazel, and the 11th Armoros, the 12th Batriel, the 13th Bazazel, the 14th Ananel, the 15th Turiel, the 16th Samsiel, the 17th Yedarel, the 18th Tumiel, the 19th Turiel, the 20th Rumiel, and the 21st Azazel. And these are the chiefs of their angels, and the names of the leaders of hundreds, and their leaders of fifties, and their leaders of tens. The name of the first is Yakun. This is the one who led astray all the children of the holy angels, and he brought them down unto the ground, and led them astray through the daughters of men. And the name of the second is Asbil. This one suggested an evil plan to the children of the holy angels and led them astray, so that they corrupted their bodies with the daughters of men. And the name of the third is Gadriel. This is the one that showed all the deadly blows to the sons of men, and he led astray Eve. And he showed the weapons of death to the children of men, the shield and the breastplate, and the sword for slaughter, and all the weapons of death to the sons of men. And from his hand they have gone out against those who dwell the dry ground from that time and forever and ever. And the name of the fourth is Penemu. This one showed the sons of men the bitter and the sweet, and showed them all the secrets of their wisdom. He taught men the art of writing with ink and paper, and through this many have gone astray, from eternity to eternity and to this day. For men were not created for this, that they should confirm their faith like this, with pen and ink.
We see what that was there. All right, so this is why we need to get over here to the eSword, okay, so that we can study this out real quick, because that's the very reason why I wanted to get into that. Because you see, there's always been movies about fallen angels, okay. There's movies about angels who fell. Gabriel, that movie, he was the last of the archangels to try and save. He was trying to save a city. Look at Gabriel. Fallen was Denzel Washington. He was trying to kill, I spelled it wrong, Azazel, who we just heard about. We just heard about Azazel. There was City of Angels, Nicolas Cage. He fell in love with Melanie Griffith, and he fell, but she died, and then he was stuck as a human, right? Then we had Constantine, which was Keanu Reeves, and he was a fallen angel who was trying to earn his way back into heaven, okay? So we always have these movies about these fallen angels, okay? And so what I want to do real quick is, because you probably, if you know about these, then let's just look at these kind of quick here, okay? We've already seen, here's Denzel Washington and his movie Fallen, okay? And this was him. There was a demon that he was trying to, let me do something here. Let me get me out of the way. All right. There was a demon, as a matter of fact, let me turn me off. There was a demon that he was trying to, and this demon was chasing him around, jumping from people to people and lurking in his face. Now, if you've ever seen a demon on someone or in someone, and you've had one smirk at you, you know when that person is not looking at you and it's something else in their face looking at you. And I've experienced that. I have that in my world now. But we're not going to go into that. But that's something that I live with on a daily. And I stay in constant prayer, and I'm always keeping the Father out in front of me because of that. Now this was a movie called Legion. Okay, some of you might remember Legion. I don't know if I can make this any bigger. Let me see if I can. Yeah, there we go. Some of you might remember Legion. When the last angel falls, the fight for mankind begins. Okay, so there was a movie Legion. There's always these movies about the last angel and the fight for mankind, because it is about the fight for mankind. It is always about the fight for mankind. And excuse me, you might hear me in the background here. I'm about to pour a 5-hour energy down my neck. I've been at work all day, and I came in and I started doing this research because I wanted to do this video for you guys and with you guys before it got. So here is, shake that up real good. There's Legion, right? So there's always these movies about these fallen angels. Now that's Legion. Excuse me, that's Legion. Now look, this is Gabriel. Okay. Now I like this movie. Okay. Because I like the story that's being told. This is an archangel. Okay. They're all archangels. Okay. Here's an archangel that is taught how to be an archangel by Gabriel. Is an archangel, and he's taught how to be an archangel by Michael. And just like Ezra said, before every spirit comes into this world, he's told what to do, how to live, and how to avoid the punishment. So the movie starts, and it always caught me every time I watched it because this was what intrigued me. He says, the last thing you remember, the first thing you remember is falling. You don't remember anything else except falling. And then you see this guy falling from wherever he's coming from, whichever heaven it is, he's falling, and then he smacks the ground on the earth. And when he falls to earth. You know, he has to come to earth as a human and do what he does as a human. Okay, they fall. And that's the first thing that you see, is that they fall. They fall from glory, from grace. You know, they fall, and they come here human. They have some powers, but they don't have all the powers. It's an interesting movie. Okay, and then here in that same in Constantine. Now anybody remember Constantine? Constantine with Keanu Reeves. Okay, now Constantine, here's the angel. He's trying to earn his way back in. Now, if you notice, every one of these angels have a gun in their hand. You notice this? You'll see him with a gun in their hand. Now, the one I went looking for, but I did not find Michael with John Travolta. Remember, John Travolta played an angel. Okay, I didn't find, the name of that movie is Michael. I didn't find that when I was looking for it. I was trying to find the trailers or something, or these posters for it, but I did not find the one for John Travolta, because I was still hunting. By the time I went live over here, I was still hunting, and I wanted to get this done so I could get to you guys. I didn't want to spend 2 hours doing another video. I'm going to try to push through this one and get it done, because I'm trying to show you something. Okay, so, but they all have guns in their hands. Okay, so Constantine. Now, in Constantine, there was another Gabriel. Okay, but this Gabriel was androgynous. This one was a chick, but you couldn't tell if it was a chick or a dude. See, you remember this girl here, right? Now, in this one, they tied her breast down, because you could look at her and you couldn't tell if this is Gabriel. You couldn't tell, is it a girl? Is it a guy? Now, we know she's a female, but when she's playing the role, you can see that they weren't letting you clearly know if it was a girl or, because the angels have the total package. They have both genitalia. Okay? They have the total package. But they can't reproduce, because there's no reason for you to reproduce. If you've got both packages, you can't do yourself in order to create life. So angels had the total package, and so there they are doing their thing. And So she's androgynous, or he's androgynous, or whatever. It's a girl boy type thing going on here, because it's hermaphrodite. The total package is a hermaphrodite. You got both genitalia. Okay, so that's in Constantine. All right, and let's see. We showed you Gabriel. Yeah, we showed you Gabriel. We showed you Legion. Did I show you Legion? I showed you Legion. Yes, I showed you Legion. I'm just trying to go through this. Oh, and here's the other one. Okay, so now here's the one that made everybody. This is the one that got everybody going in the first place. City of Angels. Nicolas Cage with Melanie Griffith. He fell in love. Now see, this is the one. Okay, because this is the one. What does the scripture say? And the sons of daughters of men, and saw that they were fair, and took wives of them, everyone. So here is this one is all about sex. It's about love. He falls in love with Melanie Griffith, right? She doesn't know there's something special about him. I just can't figure it out. He's not human. So he falls, right? And when he falls, right, she dies. She dies, and here he is with Andre Braugher. You know, this is an angel. They're supposed to be, they're the watchers. They're looking after mankind, and they're not supposed to be involved this way. And Andre Braugher is telling him not to do. There's another picture. If you look at this picture, you see them. This is a sunset and sunrise. They all stand on the beach and they listen to the music. They listen to the sound. I did a video where we were talking about the Fibonacci sequence and the sacred geometry of the music, that every planet has its own tone, and the scriptures go into the fact that there's not planets, but they're actually living entities. But science teaches us that they're planets, and as you get into these extra biblical books, you'll see that they're not planets. Luminaries that are put in place that are supposed to be watching over mankind, they're alive, they're living entities, but they don't live like you and I live, so you can't look at them and be like, oh, that's not alive, because you're expecting to see a human, and the creator of the universe did this. So the creator of the universe can make whatever he wants it to look like, or be like, or smell like, or look, or feel like, or whatever. It can be whatever. It's not what you think it is. His thoughts are not our thoughts. He thinks so much higher than we do. Okay, so you can't say that, well, that's the moon, it's not a planet. Okay, you can say that if you want to. Okay, but in his words, where they're written, the luminaries are living entities. They're watching over mankind. They're put in place for a particular reason. And when he talks about the stars that fell from heaven, who left their first habitation, okay, he said they were stars that fell, that left their first habitation. Okay, so you're looking up there in the sky and you're seeing twinkling lights, and then that's a star, baby. That's a star. That's a star. No, he said that luminary left his first habitation. It was put there to do a job, and it didn't do its job. It left its habitation. Therefore, there's a judgment and a punishment waiting for it. Okay, so this is what we got to look at. There's more to this than meets the eye. You can't look at this the way that you want to look at this. The Father put this thing together, and it's His way of doing things. Okay, so excuse me, I'm hitting the wrong screens here, but my peripheral vision, I'm trying to see what I'm doing and then talk to you at the same time. Okay, so here we're talking about, we're going to go into this, the angels who fell, fallen angels. Let's go to the movies. All right, so this is a shameless plug for a 5-hour energy drink. I've been up, and I don't want to be yawning in your ear, and so this is going to take this a few minutes to kick in, because I feel like I want to yawn already. But anyway, down the hatch. Okay, that'll kick in a few minutes, and we'll be able to go, and we can keep it going. Now, listen, we're talking about fallen angels and movies, and then we're going to talk about the real stuff. Gabriel was the last of the archangels who was sent to try and save this city. That's what that premise of that movie is about. Fallen was Denzel Washington trying to kill Azazel, okay, who was the angel that was running around, and jumping from people to people and person to person, and was killing people along the way. So I throw this person in front of a bus, I can kill that person, but this is an entity that can just jump into anybody else. Okay, willingly can jump into anyone whose body is willing. Couldn't just jump into anybody, but that person had to be willing. And probably not a believer either. Okay, and so then we have City of Angels, and so then we have Nicolas Cage, who fell in love with Melanie Griffiths, and he falls. That's the City of Angels. And then she dies in that movie, and then he's stuck as a human. And then there's another guy who I know that's in the movie that is, kind of coaching him on. And, that guy, he plays the character of Messenger. Messenger meant he was an angel. He figured that out. Then there's Constantine with Keanu Reeves. He's a fallen angel who's trying to earn his way back into heaven. And I can't remember who it was, but the guy who played the actual devil, I've seen him in other movies as well. So there's plenty of movies about the Watchers, sons of God and or angels, whatever you want to call them. They're falling in love and having sex with human women. Okay, is this premise, because that's what actually happened. And so we're going to look at it all starting. Now, if you have your studies book up, get your pseudepigrapha up. If you have your pseudepigrapha, get your pseudepigrapha up. And again, that's pseudepigrapha.com, pseudepigrapha.com. So make sure that you go to pseudepigrapha.com. If you don't have it, that's where you need to go. Again, we're in the book of Enoch. And I'm using the Ethiopic Apocalypse of Enoch. Okay? That's the one I jumped into. That's chapter 69 is where we're going to start. And 69 verse 1 is where we're going to be. Okay, so we're going to go back to the E-sword right now. Go back to E-sword, and then we're going to jump into this, and we're going to make it happen. Okay, you ready? You ready to do this? Let's do this. Let's study this out. Let's tear this thing apart. I want to show you something. Okay. Now, 69 verse 1. After this judgment, they shall terrify and make them and after this judgment they shall terrify and make them to tremble, because they have shown this to those who dwell on earth. This is talking about the fallen angels, right? There's a judgment that's just being put down on them in the chapter before this, right? And the judgment that's just been told to them is going to make them tremble because of what they've just done. Okay, but where we're starting at, we're going to start with what it is that they've done. Now they're being told, these are the names of those angels, and these are the names of the first of them. Okay, Semjaza. Okay, these are the angels that fell. Now, when you read the story in Scripture, they fell. They landed on Mount Hermon. Mount Hermon is supposed to be a stargate or a portal, where they come from that dimension into ours, and scientists and NASA and everybody else, they're all around the world looking for these stargates. When you look at the TV show Stargate, I'm so into this, the Star Trek, the Stargates, the all of that, because they're going to, when these demonic entities show up into our realm, our government and our science community is going to tell you that these are aliens coming from, and they're not. Okay, this is the reason why we have to study this stuff out, because if you don't study it out, the scripture says that the deception is going to be so pure and subtle that it may even sway the very elect. So if you don't know this, you're going to believe those are aliens, because the Pope is going to be telling people these are our space brothers, and they're not. Okay, these are fallen entities, right? This goes all the way back to the beginning. Look, that the sons of Anak in Scripture are the Anunnaki that you hear about in history. There's nothing new under the sun. What has been will be again, as it was in the days of Jared, right? The giant situation started in the days of Jared, not in the days of Noah. Noah was the end of it when it all got washed away. It started in the days of Jared. So you have to go back to the start when Jared was kicking and see what was going on, okay? There's a whole big study in this, but I'm trying to condense it because I want to take you somewhere and show you something, okay? Now look, these are their names. The first is Semjaza. The second is Artakifa, and the third is Armin. The fourth is Kokabel. The fifth is Tariel. The sixth is Ramjol. The seventh is Danjol. The eighth is Naquel. The ninth is Barakel. The 10th is Azazel. Okay. As if we just hear about Azazel, this was Denzel Washington's nemesis, right? The 11th was Amaros. And what's that woman's name? Omarosa, that we're dealing with now, and Donald Trump's nemesis, Omarosa. Okay, these names don't come from nowhere, y'all. The 5th was Bartajal. The 13th, the 12th was Bartajal, the 13th was Basejal, the 14th was Hananel, the 15th was Turel, the 16th was Simapesel, the 17th was Jetrel, the 18th was Tumael, the 19th was Turel, the 20th was Ramael, the 21st was Azazel. Look, and these are the chiefs of their angels and their names, and their chief ones over hundreds, over 50s, and over 10s. Okay, so I want you to understand, you have the hierarchy of the captains, the ones who fell, and then there was those who came with them, and their captains and their lieutenants, and then their corporals, and then their sergeants, and then okay, so underneath them was another hierarchy. So you've got the generals, and then you've got the lieutenant colonel, the colonels and lieutenant colonels and admirals and all of them underneath them, right? But each one is over, listen, their chief one's over hundreds of thousands, and then over 50s of thousands, and then over 10s of thousands. Okay, so there wasn't just a few that came to this planet. Okay, they brought their legion, their battalion. They all came with them. Okay, they all came with them, right? And they started this madness on earth. Now listen, the name of the first was Jaquan. Okay, the first one was Jaquan. That is the one who led astray the sons of God. So you have to see what's going on here, right? The scripture in Revelation 12 said that the dragon drew his tail and took a third of the stars of heaven. Those stars were these guys. Okay, that third that he drew were 10s and 50s, and were that third that he drew is right here, hundreds, 50s, and 10s of thousands. Okay, maybe even millions. We don't know, but we know it was the third. He drew his tail, and he took a third of them with him. These are them, okay, that led astray the sons of God and brought them down to earth. You see where they came to, and led them astray through the daughters of men. And the second name was Asabiel, and he imparted to the holy sons of God evil counsel and led them astray, so that they defiled their bodies with the daughters of men. And the third was named Gadriel. He it was who showed the children of men all the blows of death, and he led astray Eve. Okay, you hear that? It was Gadriel who was the snake. Now the serpent was more subtle than anyone in the garden. Okay, now listen. The animals used to talk prior to the fall of man. And when you read these scriptures, you'll see that after Adam and Eve fell, the Father took the ability of the animals to speak away. So when the serpent was talking to Eve, the serpent was talking to Eve. But the serpent was being used by Gadriel to talk to Eve. So it was this one that did what he did with Eve. Okay, so now the third was named Gadriel, and he it was who showed the children of men all the blows of death, and he led astray Eve and showed the weapons of death to the sons of men, the shield and the coat of mail and the sword for battle and the weapon and all the weapons of death to the children of men. And from his hand they have proceeded against those who dwell on the earth from that day and forevermore. And the fourth is named Penemu, who taught the children of men the bitter and the sweet, and he taught them all the secrets of their wisdom. Taught them all the secrets of their wisdom. Okay, so this is how that old age technology wisdom got into the hands of man, because this is where it came from. It came from fallen angels. It's when we talk about technology. There's fallen angel technology. This is it. Fallen angel technology. This is how it got on earth, okay? That's the secrets of the wisdom. And he instructed mankind in writing with ink and paper. And thereby man sinned from eternity to eternity until this day. For men were not created for such a purpose, to give confirmation to their good faith with. For men were created exactly like the angels, to the intent that they should continue pure and righteous, and death, which destroys everything, could not have taken hold of them. Yes, their knowledge, they are perishing, and through this power it is consuming me. Okay, so this is Enoch writing and saying, because I have this power now, this power is consuming me. I was never supposed to have this. Okay, so see that's for Savvy Pro Clean right there. There's your answer right there. We were having a discussion, and I had mentioned, I said, well, man, we're never supposed to. I said, well, where is that at? So here it is right here in Enoch. Okay, in the first chapter, right when you get to verse, right, or verse 9, you'll see that it was Penemu. Well, we say in verse 8, it was Penemu that taught men the bitter and the sweet, and taught them all the secrets of their wisdom, and he instructed mankind in the writing with ink and paper. Man was never supposed to know how to write. We were supposed to live a righteous life like the angels. The angels don't write anything down. They had the complete and pure knowledge. We were going to be taught the complete and pure knowledge. We were never going to be writing anything. This was something that was never supposed to be for us. Okay, and the fifth was okay, the fifth was named Kazdija. Okay, this is he who showed the children of men all the wicked smitings of spirits and demons. Okay. And the smiting of the embryo in the womb, that it might pass away. He taught men how to abort fetuses, okay, that it might pass away, and the smitings of the soul, okay, how do you smite a soul? The bites of the serpent and the smitings which befall through the noontide heat. The son of the serpent named Tabaet. And this is the task of Kazbil, the chief of the oath, which showed the holy ones when he dwelt high above in glory, and its name is Beka. This angel requested Michael to show him the hidden name, that he might enunciate it in an oath, so that those might quake before the name and the oath, who revealed all that was in secret to the children of men. This is the power of the oath, for it is powerful and strong, and he placed this oath, Ake, in the hand of Michael. Okay? So there's words that were spoke that had so much power that it caused the angels to tremble. And he got the oath from he asked Michael to show it to him. Now, I don't know what he said to Michael. I don't know. But Michael gave up the information. And then he used it deceitfully, right, to show him the hidden name, that he might enunciate it in an oath. Okay, so this is how the fall came about. All right, and so what I'm saying is that we got to be careful of the things that we take in. Okay, movies and music we listen to. There's a band called Fallen Angel. Okay. When I was looking this stuff up and trying to get this information, I was running across metal bands and death metal bands and all that stuff is satanic. Okay, as I was studying for this, I ran across the Satans. Okay, now there are 8 Satans listed in Scripture. I never knew that, because I've always just known that there was Satan, right? There's 8 different Satans listed in Scripture, and Christ talks to us about antichrists who have gone out into the world. Okay, spirits that are anti-Christ, right? So those spirits who are anti-Christ, I don't know if they are Satans, but they are certainly anti-Christ. So he says that the spirit has gone out into the world, and there are antichrists who have gone before already. So we know that, right? Those are demons. Now, I wanted to touch this because I wanted to show you guys that these are those angels that fell and the ones that came with them. And even though I had read this so many times before, for some reason, I missed the whole fact that it was Gadriel that is the one that got at Eve. I don't know how I missed that before, but it was for me to see it now because I'm chasing the Sabbaths. I heard Ezra say what happens to the soul when it leaves its body. I heard Ezra ask the question, what happens when we leave? And then the angel said, look, man, let me tell you, the moment before you even get, before you get in this body, in your mother's womb, before you get in here, let me turn this around, I'm trying to give them a shameless plug. Before you get in this body, the Father strictly commands you and tells you before he puts you in here what you need to do to live and what to do to stay away from being punished with death. Before you even get in the body, you are strictly commanded. That's Esdras 7, verse 21. Don't believe me? Go look it up. Just taught it yesterday. Day before yesterday. Just taught on that. Okay? Ezra was so concerned about the people he had been praying for. I'm concerned about my family. Because here I am. Look, you guys, I've been walking this walk. I've been doing this since I was 19 years old. Okay? I'm a long way away from 19 now. See the gray hair? But I'm still a young man, baby. I'm not an old man at all. But I've been doing this since I was 19. Okay? And it's getting dark on me, I can see. I've been doing this since I was 19. And ever since I've been doing this, whenever my mother has been around me or in my world at all, there's been contention because I do this and I live like this. And so it's never been happy. It's never been like a good thing. You know, it never has been. It never ever has been on whatever side. Because, you know, you have situations where there are so you can get up and you can go to church every Sunday, okay? You can get up and you can go to church every Saturday. There's people that do that. They get up and they go to church every Sunday. They get up and they go to church every Saturday. But do they live a life sold out to the Father? Do they live a life sold out to God? No, they don't. They don't, because most of the time they're eating shrimp. They're eating, you know, ham sandwiches, and they're doing Christmas and Easter, and they're doing all the things that we're told that we're not supposed to do. You know, by the scriptures tell us to keep the law and the commandments. And in the law and in the commandments, we're told our dietary laws and our food and the things that we're supposed to eat and the things that we're not supposed to eat. And do we eat that way? No. Do we live that way? No, we don't, because we don't. And society has us, especially this Western society, has us in a way and in a position where that's just how we live. That's just who we are. Okay? And there's almost nothing we can do to get away from it, you know, without going, you know, hardcore. Okay? Now, when I was first coming into this at 19, I didn't know any of the things that I'm talking to you about now. So it's one of those learn as you go type situations. And I just thank God that he allowed me to have the time that I have to learn what I'm learning and to learn what I've already learned and what I've been teaching on all these years. You know, I've always been into the end time prophecies and always been into the eschatology of it all. But this body that we're in, okay, I've stripped it now. This body that we're in, we're never told how to live this thing, right? Because what I just discovered was that the scriptures that tell us how to live this thing have been taken out. It's all been taken out. We're not told in our scriptures how to live this thing in this body. And it says so in Esdras 7:21 that before we are placed here, we are strictly commanded. And I never knew that. Okay? So no one ever taught about the fallen angels. No one ever taught about that did what they did, that we were never supposed to learn how to write. And, and for some reason I couldn't figure out why I was always drawn to these science fiction movies and TV shows and things about because now I understand what it is. I understand now is that that's what they're going to use in order to convince us that aliens are space brothers when they're actually interdimensional fallen entities. Spirits that want to convince us that, and this is what will usher in the Antichrist. That's what will usher it in. And so even the very elect are going to have to be on our toes to the subtleties of how they'll bring that about. And I know plenty of people right now who don't even look at it that way, who consider themselves to be believers, who don't read the scriptures, don't study end time prophecy, but they claim to be Christians or they claim to be believers or whatever they claim, but they're not looking at even some Hebrews. A lot of Hebrew teachers, no one's talking about giants, because the scripture says that as it was in the days of Noah, so shall it be in the days of the coming of the Son of Man. What's going to be happening in the days of the coming of the Son of Man? What was happening during the days of Noah? That's what you got to look at. What was happening during the days of Noah? So hold on. So what was happening in the days of the son of Noah was the fact that they were given and taken in marriage. To who? We were just talking about it right here. So this is like the tip of the iceberg. This is how I want to wet your tongue. I want to wet your whistle, because we're going to dig into this more and more and more. Okay, and we're going to get going on these more and more and more. Okay, but this was just something that I had to just bring because I saw it, and it was immediately I had to jump on this. I'm like, I just can't let this one go. I can't spend a lot of time trying to throw this one together because it for what it takes, to bring you an hour and a half worth of research takes 2 days. Together. I was in last night with nephew and I spotted some things, and we were on some 15th and 14th century maps dragging out some stuff so that I could come and bring this to you. And when I showed it to him, it blew his mind, and he was all, and I showed him one map and he was all up in it with me for the next 4 hours until we went to sleep. Okay, 10 o'clock last night, he said, I gotta go, man, I gotta go, I gotta get up in the morning. I'm like, okay. But I was saving documents and he was saving, because I know him. I know he was saving documents. And he's the kind that sees things that, just jumped out. He said, do you realize this map is on page 911? I said, see, only you would see that. Only you would see page 911. Man, you know what happened on 911? This page on page 911, So I said, only you would see that. I said, so I mentioned something to him. I said, let me give you this map. I'm going to show you something. So I gave him a map. I'm here in California. He's in Idaho. I gave him a map, and we were online together. We were on the phone together looking at something online. And we were sitting there talking on the phone, and I said, I want you to look right here. I said, I want you to look in the upper right-hand corner and follow this down. Look right underneath this AMA, and tell me what city you see right there. And he was like, ah. And then he pulled out his Google Maps, and I had Google Earth, and I'm like, okay, so that's the 14th century map. I said, so let's see if we can find out where it is today. And I'm telling you, man, I zeroed in on something, and he zeroed in on something, and we were just like maybe that far on the map. We were like that far apart. I saw this, and he saw that. And when we zeroed in on it, it was like, ah, there it is. It's like, yep, there it is. So I mean, we have some things that we're bringing, and we try to do, like, because he has the sister site. I do the second site in the Hebrew Israelites, and he does the Illuminati records and another one. So he was doing a page, a live broadcast on Illuminati, and had me on kind of like as a guest, and we were, I was doing my thing and he was doing his thing, and we were just kind of sharing what we always do back and forth. We were just doing it live. And so there's more that'll come that way, and you'll see, him. So if you go to my second site on Facebook, you'll see it there. You'll go to my Hebrew Israelites on Facebook, you'll see it there. We've got the YouTube channels as well. But just look for my surroundings. You can look. There's a couple other second sites out there. There's a second site guy that's doing music and a couple other ones. But you have to look for my surroundings if you want to see me. I'm not the only second site out there. So anyway, I wanted to bring that to you real quick, family, and we're gonna dig into this deeper because I have more for it, but and more to talk about it as we dig into what it was that happened. So I wanted to show you who the players were first of all, and how it went down. So once we can see who the players are, then we know, we can look at what went down. Once we look at what went down, then we can talk about, how it's affecting us today, because this is the stuff that Ezra was talking about and how we go about getting this off of our backs. So that's the main thing we want to talk about right there, is how we go about getting this off of our backs, because we can reverse these curses. These curses are reversible, okay? But we have to come back to the law and the commandments. There's some things that we have to do in order to make this work for us, okay? So look at here, Mishpachah. I'm going to leave it right there, and we're going to see you again on the next time. I just hope that you come on in and you hang out with me some more, and we'll get this thing popping. We'll certainly get it popping. I'll tell you what, it's going to be all great, all right? So hang on in there, and I'll talk to you later.